welcome to Family Business World. I'm Dr. Dale Caldwell, and I have a very, very special guest, Carla Severino from Severino Pasta, some of the best homemade pasta in the world. And so today we're going to find a little bit about the business and the history of the business and how they're giving back to the community. So, Carla, welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for inviting
Could you
me.
tell us? Yeah, well, it's an honor to have you here. Could you tell us a little bit about the history of Severino Pasta?
Well, my parents started the business in 1971.
Wow.
They had anticipations of opening a very small pasta manufacturing facility right in Westmont, New Jersey.
Oh, Westmont, okay.
Westmont, New Jersey.
Okay.
And it sort of came out of a little bit of desperation. My father was a shoe salesman, and he had hoped to be able to do well in that line of work, but they had lived in Philadelphia, and in 1968 my parents decided to move back to Italy because they were originally from Italy.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Originally
Wow.
from Italy.
Wow.
And thought maybe they would go back home because they had come here to the United States after the war and had spent many years here working, and then had decided, let's go back home to Italy and see if we can make our life and return to our home place. But when they did that after 20-some years of being here in the United States, Italy wasn't quite home, wasn't quite what they had anticipated for work and getting back into living life there. So my father was selling shoes there, and after they had been there only 18 months, they sort of thought maybe they might have made a mistake and thought that they wanted to come back to the United States. So they had made some moves back and forth and finally had said, well, if we go back to the United States, I think I want to do something a little different. So he had no idea that he was going to get involved in the pasta business. This came to be as a result of him not wanting to sell shoes anymore, coming back to the United States, to Philadelphia area, and do something a little different. And in Italy, how it works when you go shopping, you go to the butcher to buy meat, and you go to the bakery to buy pastries, and you go to a pastificio to buy pasta. And so they had seen this nice little pastificio store where they manufactured all kinds of quality fresh pasta. And there was a little tortellini machine in the window, and my father
This store was in Italy or in here?
The store was in Italy.
Oh, really? Okay, wow.
And because they were shopping for their food daily, and daily you would go and purchase your pasta or your pastries or bread. And so my father, his eye got caught by this little tortellini machine in the window that was spitting out these cute little tortellini. And he always had a niche for mechanical, he was a mechanic for cars, he liked machinery. So this sort of caught his eye, and he kind of thought to himself, that's kind of interesting, pasta. He said, I might be able to do something like that back in Philadelphia. Not knowing anything, not knowing recipes, him and my mom actually went to the shop owner there, small little shop, and went to the shop owner. His name was Umberto Casoli, and they
You still remember that?
I remember him because he really was the one that helped my mother and father get off of their feet with, with making pasta, because they had said to them, would you teach us this trade? And he, not knowing who they were, knowing that they were customers, but were like, well, why? And my father tried to explain to him, I'm actually thinking about taking something like this, an idea like this, to Philadelphia and open up my own little store. And because they had been customers for a while, he actually obliged and said, you know what, I'll train you. I give you 2 weeks. My mother went in there with a piece of paper and a pen for 2 weeks, wrote down some recipes, looked at and worked on some of the machinery, and my father ended up going to Milano, buying one machine, and we all came back to the United States. And with that one machine, during his lunch hour while he was working, because when he came back to the United States, he had to get a job right away. So what did he do? He sold shoes locally in Haddonfield. And on his lunch hour, he would go around to different areas to try and find a small little place where he could open up this tiny little pasta shop that he was thinking about. And he found it in Westmont, New Jersey.
Wow. Well, we're going to see some pictures in a second. Now, was it a family business? Was Umberto's a family business in Italy? Do you know?
Umberto's was a family business.
business. See, family business
it was
helping
a
family
father,
business.
his wife, his children in the business. So, and he had been doing it for many, many years. He even had sister-in-laws, and he had a lot of family involved in the business. And so, yeah, it was family business, teaching family business.
And this show, as we've talked, one of the things is this is really a tribute to your parents who have passed on. So
Yes.
if you could describe some of these pictures.
That's a beautiful picture of my mother and father. That is later on. My mother was already diagnosed with Alzheimer's. She had suffered from dementia for many years, and we wanted to capture the family, capture the essence of what we do and the togetherness that we share. And of course, we were so fortunate enough to have our parents. I remember that morning very well. I dressed my mother, put that beautiful scarf around her, fixed her nice, and she enjoyed that day with my father. We had a very nice time. My two brothers, Peter and Louis.
On the back, that was your two brothers? And
My two brothers who
perfect.
are also involved in the business, yes.
And this is your dad?
This is my dad, who spontaneously took a shot. The photographer said, "Just look at me, Joe." And that's exactly what he did. And Mr. Severino right there, good old dad, he posed, and it actually is iconic. We've used this photo many, many times. He recently passed just
How long ago? How long?
December 19th.
Oh my goodness! So this is
yeah.
and his first name?
His name is Joseph.
Joseph. Wonderful, wonderful. He
Yeah.
sounds like just an amazing man and an amazing dad.
He had a
And so-
vision for a man who really, started something very small with the help of his family, his two sons and myself, and now with the third generation, I have my daughter, and he has his sons, my nephew. So there are continuing family members that have interest in the business and want to continue with his legacy.
But what a great story for those watching that want to start their business, that if you have the chutzpah, if you have the energy and you have the passion, you can make anything. I'm
You
getting
can make
hungry looking at
anything,
I'm
yeah.
getting hungry looking at that picture. I love pasta. That's my
Yeah,
favorite
you could
food
pretty
in the
much
world.
make anything. I mean, back in the day when we first opened, it was tough. We were just making tortellini and spaghetti and ravioli. Some of the things there are just a beautiful collection of fresh homemade pasta, flavored pasta, no artificial flavor. You see the brightness of the colors.
Yeah.
That's all natural foods, and we are always looking for new shapes and new flavors, new stuffed pastas. That's a beautiful collection of the work that we do.
And then what separates you from other pasta places? I mean, you have just an amazing reputation. Your food, if anyone is near, they've got to
Well,
try
one
it.
of the things that was always essential and important to Dad and the family was quality.
Right.
This was true artisanal Italian homemade pasta. And this was taught from a true Roman. It was a Roman pastificio, which is a pasta factory, with very, very all natural ingredients. There's nothing artificial, nothing. This is the artisanal old style way of making homemade pasta.
So if you're a health nut, this is fresh, and this is the equivalent of organic. kind
And
of
we were
stuff.
considered small batch, so we're not a big high-end manufacturer. We're small batch, we're homemade. We extrude our pasta from brass dies.
Okay.
All our dry short macaroni pastas are all brass dies as opposed to Teflon dies. The reason for brass die, it's the old artisanal style way of making pasta. When it's extruded, it's very rough and has a great texture, holds the sauce. So there's a lot of different factors that come into play when you want to make something of high quality and something that people will enjoy, as well as many restaurants. We serve over 350 restaurants in the state of New Jersey,
Oh, really?
Pennsylvania, and Delaware, who use our pasta products for
Interesting.
their for
Can you
their
buy it online?
restaurants.
Can you buy it online?
We do not have we do not do
Okay.
e-commerce
Okay.
at this time, but you could certainly call up and order pasta, and
Right.
sometimes we can ship out dry pasta. Shipping pasta is very expensive.
Yeah.
But I do have some customers across the United States that are like, listen, whatever the price is, I want your gramigna, or I want your pappardelle. Please send it to me, especially around holiday time. I get a lot of calls from people across the United States that ask to have it shipped right directly to their home. So
Interesting. Now, what about sauces? So
we have an array of sauces.
Yeah. Talk to me about the different sauces.
Our little store, well, that little store that they opened up in 1971 has now expanded.
Right.
After 12 years of being in that location, my father found a piece of property and he built our present store that is there today. So we're 48 years in business. And so now what we have is we have a nice specialty, Italian specialty store, and you can come in and buy an array of all kinds of Italian specialties, prosciutto, salami, we have cheeses from all over the world, we have olive oils, breads, we have a nice selection of pastas, and also prepared foods. If you're interested or you're tired and you don't have a chance to come home and make dinner, we have dinner made for you.
Really?
We run specials all week long. Yes, we run specials all week long. People can come in and get prepared foods and dinners to just take home, heat and eat, and good to go.
So 350 restaurants. Now, how many employees are part
presently, right now, we are at about 95 employees.
95 employees?
Yes.
My goodness, wow.
We have a warehouse location up in West Hampton.
Okay.
And so we are doing a lot of manufacturing and meal preparation there because we do serve Whole Foods across the United States. So we do a lot of wholesale business, not only just our retail business. So our wholesale business includes Whole Foods, restaurants, and a lot of specialty markets. We sell our pasta to a lot of specialty markets. So not only do we have that our wholesale manufacturing facility up in West Hampton, we are presently working on doing another manufacturing facility at our present warehouse in Cherry Hill.
Interesting. Wow. And so family members now. What family members are actively involved in the business
Family
now?
members that are actively involved in the business. My father was actively involved in the business up until he was 87 years old.
87,
just this
wow.
past, customers remember him being there just this past November.
Would he come in every day?
Every day. He would
every
come
single
in every
day.
day.
Wow. I love it.
Every
Love
day, work on machines that broke down, make sure the customers were happy, greeted everyone at the door. He was that iconic man that was there. He wanted to be there. It was important to him to be there because that's what family business is. You want to have that interaction. You want to be able to walk into a place, and especially if you're walking into an Italian pasta shop, you need to see family.
Exactly.
And my father was there, and alongside him is my brother Louis, who is the oldest, my brother Peter, who's the youngest, and myself. And we are pleased, as I said before, we're pleased to have my brother Louis's son, my nephew Joseph, and now my daughter has come on. Her name is Paulina, and she's come on into the business to help out as well. But one of the things was every holiday, we always had all family come. You know, the kids of my brothers and everybody came to help and be a part of working Christmas Eve and working Thanksgiving, and holiday times were always, it was a family environment. It's a family event. It's pride. It's the community. It's the community of customers. They're just not customers. They're like family themselves.
They're like family as well.
They've come.
We're going to take a short break now and go to a commercial break, and then we'll come back, and I want to talk more about family and family business.
Yes.
What does it take to strengthen our service members so they can be the greatest force for good in the world? It takes a force. Be a force behind the forces. Share a message today at force.uso.org.
I want to be a contender. I want a warm belly to sleep on.
A big house.
How do I look? Do I look good?
I want to play hard.
My nails done once a month.
I want
a home. I just want a home. I want someone to love.
Last year, more than 30,000 companion animals came to us without homes. 20,000 of them were felines. Let's make some homes together.
Add us on social media to watch bloopers, behind-the-scenes footage, previews, and more.
Choosing Medicare coverage can be a very confusing and complicated process. Help is just a phone call away, 856-226-4800. As a licensed insurance agent, I'll assist you in making an informed and confident decision on a Medicare plan that meets your needs, lifestyle, and budget. Call me today for a free, no obligation Medicare benefits consultation. 856-226-4800.
From Severino Pasta, we were just talking about family businesses and how family and customers are family and employees are family. And that's really why I love this show, is that people don't understand that by going online, you're missing that experience of buying something, of really tasting it through the people who are there. So you have 90 employees, and I imagine they're like family. You've had some for a long time.
Our employees really are very much like family. We've had some employees there. I have employees there over 20-some years. And they work very hard for us, and they feel very close to us. In the passing of my mom and the passing of my father, they were there. They were there to support. They understood. They're very gracious. And they take pride themselves in what they're doing, because they, too, they're working for their families. And so we all have a wonderful rapport and relationship, and it's hard work. They're working very hard. It's a factory, and we're manufacturing day and night. We have 2 shifts. We are doing nighttime shift as well as daytime shift. So our employees are dedicated, they're devoted, and they're close to us. You know, they're very close to us. Like our customers, what's very interesting about our customers is that we get an opportunity not only to see, it's 48 years in business. I now have the grandchildren of some of the customers,
Wow.
you know, from 48 years ago, which is beautiful. Yeah. It's beautiful. They've either moved into town or they remember their grandmothers and grandfathers shopping in our store. There's not anyone that has come in this past holiday season with the passing of my father that hasn't shed a tear, that hasn't given condolences, that hasn't been heartfelt, and remember and helps to share the memories of their experiences. Even I think their holiday dinners, they sat there talking about the traditions that they have, eating pasta, and Mr. Severino and the Severino family. That's how close we are. We really have that rapport with our customers, and it's wonderful to see, you know, the new babies coming in.
Right, to see it carried on throughout different families. Well, see, and one of the things, and even malls are changing now, because especially young people want experiential stuff. They don't want to just go in, and people don't realize that family businesses provide that experience, and it's not just going in, buying, and leaving. It's really that. But let's talk a little bit about your mom. Now, your mom had passed away about
passed away 18 months ago.
18 months ago, yeah.
Yes,
and what was her role in the business?
Oh, well, Mom was, her role in the business, I mean, my father worked the machines in the beginning, and Mom was the person at the counter who interacted with the customers. You know, back then in 1971, customers really, they knew Chef Boyardee, they knew spaghetti in the can, and here we open up this store. We didn't even have a cash register, we had a cash box, and they opened up the store, and customers would come in and be like, well, what's in, this is fresh spaghetti, because they always knew Ronzoni in the box.
Exactly, in the box.
And so what she would do is, and tortellini, she would give them, they'd say, well, I'll buy a pound of fresh spaghetti, so she would give them a pound of fresh spaghetti, but she would also say, here, you know what, try these tortellini and make it like this. Let me give you these fettuccine or ravioli, and she would tell them how to do it. See if you like it. Then before you know it, next time they came back, they bought the spaghetti, the ravioli, the tortellini, because she had that rapport with them. She would give recipes, to tell them how to cook. Oh, they had wonderful, she was a hard worker. My mom made everything from scratch. And in the beginning, I mean, today you walk in there, you see all machines, but in the beginning it was all by hand.
By hand, wow.
She rolled all the manicotti, she made the sauces, she made the mix fillings, the fillings for the tortellini, meat and seafood. She did all that labor. I mean, it was a very labor-intensive, you know, work for her. It was, and funny enough, with all the hard work she did during the day, at night the family had a dinner at the table that, you know, was just, you know, she'd come home at 6:30, start to make dinner. It was just, that was the way that it was, and work was 7 days a week.
It was 7 days. Well, and that's one of the things, too. And so I actually teach a class at Fairleigh Dickinson University. I run this Rothman Institute of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, and we actually have our first class today. It's called Family Business Management. And one of the things that, you know, I'm going to have them look at our shows to really see real live family businesses and leaders of the business. But when you talk about succession, there's a pattern that develops. And the pattern is that the companies where the younger people actually have to work. They're not treated like someone special. They have to work alongside all the other folks. The succession works. When they feel privilege, it almost is guaranteed to fail with the next generation. So I suspect you had the same kind of thing. You had to work.
We all had to work. After school, at 4th grade, I came home from school and was at the pasta shop, and I was scraping gnocchi and sweeping the floor. And, you know, my brother Peter, too, and my brother Louis, right after high school, came right to the business. My father had him in the business. Even when he was in high school, he came and worked. I mean, we worked right after school. On the weekend, Sunday, we opened 10 to 2. We were there. And so now, even with the new the new generation of our children coming in, the kids have always grown up with this sort of work ethic. And so they understand it, they know it, and now they themselves are living it. You know, they do have to come in, they do have to sweep the floors, take out the trash. It's part of the whole process. It's just as important to do that as it is to stand at the counter or be on the phone or be in the office working on a computer. All sectors of the business, everybody wears many different hats when you're involved in a family business, and you want to make sure that that's instilled in the future.
You learn the business, and you know, and you can't, you know, people respect you when you've done exactly what you're asking them to do. And it seems so basic, Carla, but so many businesses, it's all about the money. It's,
that unfortunately can get out of hand, and that unfortunately can become a forefront of people's motivation, where, you know, it really needs to come back to what was the point of this? The point of this business was to raise a family, to be successful. That's what my father, that is what his main drive was. To be comfortable, to be successful, to grow the business little by little by little. And with the assistance of the next generation, which you look to them because they have knowledge that you might not necessarily have. They know the future, they know the next technological.
And how the world is changing. They know the customer base and what they're looking for.
And so you look to them, and Dad, being of old Italian, you know, mentality, it was tough for him to come and be a part of the new change that was down the pike with the new generation. But he realized, and with the help of that, that's how we were able to grow and do with the expansion that we have, you know, to listen. You too have to listen to your children and to the future because they have ideas.
Exactly.
And they will be the future of the company. So they learn from you, but they also need to be free and given opportunities so that they can also develop in their way and be an asset to the company, because that's what you're looking for.
And that's a great point.
They want to be a part.
They want, exactly, if you let them be a part.
Right.
But the world is changing so much more quickly now than ever, so you really need that next generation to really say, technology, how is that changing the customer base?
Because they can help you. They can make things faster, quicker, smarter. That's what you look to them for, and I think it improves all the way around, and it gives them motivation.
Well, one of the things on this show that I talk about the role of government in really helping or hurting family businesses. Unfortunately, with a lot of businesses, the whole mandated wages that have no relevance to the industry you're in have been a hindrance. But sometimes government has been very, very helpful. And so I know the Economic Development Authority, you were saying, was very helpful in helping you grow. Say a little bit about that.
Yes, back in 2009, Governor John Corzine, through the NJEDA, we played a role. There was $2.2 billion for the state of New Jersey to invest in about 300 businesses, and we were one of the businesses that played a part in that. And with that help from the state, we were able to build very big freezers in our Cherry Hill location, and that helped us to move forward in some pretty big contracts with some good companies and be able to manufacture and store much more pasta and do more business. So we really looked to that as a plus, and my parents were very happy about that. My father was pleased. John Corzine came with his crew to the pasta shop.
Okay, all right, nice.
It was wonderful. Yeah, he came to the pasta shop, and my mom and him, and he was cutting pasta, and it was really nice that he came there and was able to see our small little family factory and actually what we produced out of that little location. Right. It's unbelievable. Some people actually don't realize. They see this building and, you know, but not really knowing what goes on behind the scenes and what kind of business we actually do out of that small spot. And with the help of that in 2008, that was you know, that helped us move forward and grow.
It's wonderful to hear the good story, because, you know, so often, government doesn't understand that the job creators are family businesses. 80% of the jobs are family businesses. The number of changes is growing every year around the world. And so the best investment of government is investing in these businesses so they can grow, they can hire people, they can pay healthcare costs,
Yes.
they can satisfy customers. Yet it seems to be the opposite. And so, and it's oftentimes, and I used to be a state official, Deputy Commissioner, Department of Community Affairs, and people would almost assume that the business is taking advantage of people. Instead, the businesses spend money. I know businesses have been paid for funeral costs for relatives, have helped people who are out falling on hard times, who are employees. They're actually doing the opposite. And so I know when I see, you've done a lot. Talk about some of the community stuff that
Well, the
Severino's
community stuff that we do, the community is very important to us, and we do many things for the local schools. We work close with Cathedral Kitchen, and I've done events with them, and we help to support them in many different ways. In manufacturing pasta, sometimes you have pasta that might not necessarily came out perfect, and so you may have a little bit of overstock, and so whenever we have overstock, we always think about the community and offer donations. We're very good at helping companies if they are in need of donations or different sort of organizations. We've always been a part of that. We also do a wonderful community dinner, a family dinner in Haddon Township every year. This was our 5th year.
What time of year? What time of year?
October in the
October,
fall.
okay.
And we are able to serve 400 people in town in our local square in Haddon Township. And tickets go on sale, and they're sold in about, I'd say, 15 minutes.
Wow.
And so we do an outdoor, wonderful dinner event, and it really brings everybody together. It's a fun family affair. It's a great night.
And what does that benefit? What is that?
We do send a portion of those proceeds to go to the Alzheimer's.
They do? Okay,
Alzheimer's.
wonderful.
It was, for my mom at the time, we decided that would be a wonderful way to honor her.
Wonderful.
And now I would think that moving forward, my father died of cancer, and so I think that would be something that we would probably also like to support through that event as well. So, because so many people are affected by either one or the other, and I think they enjoy the fact that this is something that they can enjoy for the night with their family. They'll come with their whole families, buy 15 tickets at a time, and knowing that they could support something that might be close to them too.
To have a good meal and to help folks.
Have a good meal, have a nice night.
Unfortunately, we're at the end of time, and this has been just wonderful.
Thank you.
Congratulations, and hopefully, the Severino homemade pasta. You've got to visit them and go online to their website. And what's your website?
SeverinoPasta.com.
SeverinoPasta.com. So thank you very much, and look forward to seeing you in the next episode of Family Business World.
Thank you. Thank you.